So let me first off get out there and say a little bit about Ayrton Senna. He's not the main topic of this video, but I thought it was needed to say about him, as this, again, what I'm going to be talking about is a series that has his name in it. So, Ayrton Senna, again, sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly, was a Brazilian racing driver who won the Formula One World Drivers' Championship in 1988, 1990, and 1991, and who is widely regarded as one of the greatest Formula One drivers of all time. He died in an accident while leading the 1994 San Marino Grand Prix while driving for Williams Racing. So he's a really popular and really famous F1 driver back in the during from was it the 60s to was it 80s? From the 80s, from the late 80s to the early 90s. He was really popular before then as well. And he died in an accident while he was on the 1994 San Marino Grand Prix. So he had a bunch of games. A lot of people tend to know the Monaco GP game, the Super Monaco GP game on the Sega Genesis. But there is other games, and there is actually a series of games which I'm going to be talking about today, and those games are Kart Duel. Yes, Kart Duel. And I'm not joking when I say this. No offense against the guy, right? But I literally just wanted to cover this series on the name alone, Kart Duel. And the thumbnail is going to represent this as well. No disrespect if you see in thumbnail, if you go that, no disrespect there. Again, that's the first thought that came to my mind when I thought Kart Duel. So yeah, sorry. So yeah, there's Ayrton Senna. If you want to know more about him, look it up on Google. Because again, I just thought I'd do a little piece here at the beginning of the video before we move into it. So let's go into what we actually want to talk about in this video, and that's the Kart Duel games, which had a total of 3 games on the PlayStation 1, which were released in memory of Ayrton Senna, because they came out after he died. Those are Kart Duel, Kart Duel 2, and Kart Duel Special. Now, Kart Duel and Kart Duel 2 did get released in Europe. These games were made in Japan, by the way. He seems to be quite popular in Japan because he had some memorial games made after him. The Kart Duel series, and what you're seeing right now, for example, is another example. That's Ayrton Senna's personal talk on the Sega Saturn. Strange game, mind you. I didn't cover it for this video, but very strange game. So yeah, let's move straight into the old Kart Duel games and start with the very first Kart Duel. Kart Duel! Kart Duel! Sorry, I can't stop saying Kart Duel. It just sounds so cool. I also like to point out that all of these games are developed by a company called GAPS. So just want to put that out there. So this is the very first Kart Duel game. Again, the title. I can't get over it. And it's fucking chaos. I'm not even joking, right? The reason why I played the original Kart Duel as part of one of my PlayStation randoms on my side channel, Bio in the Shadow Realm, and I didn't believe I'd have so much fun with it. The controls are so janky, but it feels like you're drifting. It's surreal. You go around a corner and the cart just goes like skids around, like the 2 tires going into the corner come up on their side. You're just drifting drifting on 2 wheels around the corner. It's just crazy. It's just madness, and the game feels so goddamn fast. It's ridiculous, and I love it. This game is great. It is great. It's just madness. So basically, yeah, it's a kart racing game. Apparently, Ayrton Senna was really into kart racing. Apparently, again, I really didn't do any research on the guy. Any research at all besides a Wikipedia article. And I don't mean to show the guy disrespect. I'm just not interested. I'm more interested in these games than I am him. And yeah, it's kart racing. Apparently, he was really into kart racing, and this game is absolute chaos. It's like you are moving at like 1,000,000 miles a minute. It's ridiculous. And then you go around a corner, and you effectively speaking, drifting around a corner. It just feels like, like those little RC cars. You put in the little Scale-electrics, where you put them in the little pre-made tracks, and they go around the track at like super speed. This is what this feels like. It's ridiculous. and I absolutely love it. But this is the only game which is kind of like this. The later games tend to move away from this and tend to go for more like standards. I guess the word is standardized racing formula instead of this absolute chaos you're seeing right now, which is kind of unfortunate. But yeah, I've really enjoyed this first Kart Duel game. It's great. Let's move on to number 2 then, shall we? Obviously, next we have Kart Duel 2, and it's nothing like the first one. It's kind of unfortunate, really, how they decided to go for a more linear racing experience from 2 onwards. And here you go. Here is Kart Duel 2. Look at it. It just looks like a standard racing game, but with karts. Before, you had these small courses to maneuver around in, and it felt like just pure chaos. It was beautiful. But in this game, it just looks like a standard race course that you would get even in just if you're driving a normal car. Now, the first thing I'm going to say about this game is do not play in third person, because your bearings are completely fucked. Now, I normally play a racing game in third person. I don't like the first person view. I prefer the third person view. But in this racing game, this is the only racing game I've ever played where I've had a better experience with the first person view than the third person. And I'm still bumping into every goddamn corner. Why? Because the turning in this game is so fucking shit. It's not like in the previous game where you could literally like drift around the corners and sometimes drift a bit too hard to the point where you have to, like, your car comes to a stop and you have to get out and give it a push. In this game, it's not like that. It's yeah, the turning is very janky, and a lot of the time, like here, you come up to here and you try to turn, and oh no, boom, you smack into the side. You think you've put enough brake on there, but it's not enough, and you put too much brake and you just come to a crawl. It's just, yeah. And the game's hard. The game is quite hard, you know. And it's not, in my opinion, what I consider to be fair hard. Yeah, you know, you ever have a racing game where the CPU, I've never had this, by the way, but if you ever have a racing game where the computer controlled AI is perfect, and I mean literally perfect, they can't make a mistake. And if you watch the AI, like the CPUs in these games, is their turning is ridiculous. It is like they turn on a point. Like they could do a complete 180 and still maintain the same speed. I fucking swear. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, so you have quite difficult AI, and that's the reason why you can see I'm in 7th place at the moment. I'm not having a good time here. I'm trying my best, I really am. But the AI is just, like, pitch perfect. You know, they don't make mistakes. Okay, fine. The turning is not great, as I also stated previously. It's not great, the turning. And it's just, overall, on the nose, if you would say, it's just not as fun as the first game. It really isn't. Which is just too bad. Because I feel like this game got a little bit more attention in Europe. Now, yeah, both games got released in Europe, but the first game looks like it had like a limited packaging release. Because it doesn't look like a standard PlayStation 1 game. You know, I'll flash up the box art on screen just to give you an example. But then with the second one, it looks like a more standard game. But then again, it looks a little bit more boring, I think. I don't know. It's strange. The Japanese box arts for both of these games. Number 2's box art is great. Look at this box art. You couldn't even tell. This could be an RPG for all you know. You don't goddamn know just from this cover, do you? You never heard of the bloke before, and you just like, Kart Duel? Is this Racing Lagoon? Oh, okay. Anyway, so that's Kart Duel 2, and let's move on to the final one, Kart Duel Special, shall we? And finally, we have Kart Duel Special, KD Special as it shows on there. And this game I have the least to say about, because in terms of how it plays, it's pretty identical to Kart Duel 2. I'm not even joking. Still much easier to drive the kart in first person than in third person. The only real difference here, in my opinion, is they've actually fixed the turning. I mean, literally, you can actually kind of drift slightly with the turning now as well. They've actually, as you can probably see here, I'm having a much easier time with the turning than I did before. It's giving a lot more leeway of what you can do. So as you can see, oh look, I'm in 3rd place now. Look how just simply changing the turning and I'm having a much easier time of it. It's just strange, isn't it? But yeah, I haven't really got much to say about Kart Duel Special. It's, again, I think it's just an updated version of Kart Duel 2. It would surprise me if that's what it is, because there isn't really much difference with it. If you're wondering why I'm in 7th place now, this track is horrible, because as you can see there, you have very tight turns, and if you turn too quickly, then your kart will do something similar to what it did in the first game, where it will just go in one, it will just slide on its side and hit the wall, and then you have to go off again, completely taking away all your speed. And like, oh, like that corner, oh, that corner horrible, no, not good. But yeah, I can't really think of anything else to say really. The tracks are pretty much the same as well. I just picked different tracks this time around, I think. It's just, they had very similar look anyway, the tracks. But yeah, Kart Duel Special. That's all I have to say about old Kart Duel Special. Not much to say, as there's not much that's changed. And there we go. There's Kart Duel. I know, I'm surprised with the length of the video, really, considering I'm pretty much talking about 3 games, but maybe the intro was a bit longer than it should have been. But I kind of feel like it was necessary to talk about Mr. Senna at the beginning before we started this video. So yeah, that's the Kart Duel games, a series that literally my only interest towards it came from the fact that it was called Kart Duel. That's literally it. So I thought, bugger it. It's, you know, I've already played one of the games. Just might as well have a go at the other 2 games and see what they're like. So my favorite out of the collection, probably the first one. I'll be honest. The first one, yeah, it needed certain fixes, like to make it a bit more enjoyable. But the chaotic nature of it and the small tracks just made it that much more special to me. In terms of it's just so much more fun. Like you could have a really good sesh with your friends on something like that. But yeah. So that was Kart Duel. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I'm pretty sure you probably hadn't even heard of these games before watching this. If you have, then kudos to you with your obscure knowledge. Like, yeah. But yeah, let me know if you've ever played these games. I doubt it, but let me know. What do you think of these games? From what you've seen, do you think you'd play them? Are you into racing games? You into kart racing games? Do you think you'd play these? Let me know in the comments. I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.